Big news coming out of the Middle East. Pretty much all shipping companies are now shutting down all transit through the Red Sea. Trade is just flat out halting. It's as bad as the shutdown of the Suez Canal. Friends, big news out there. There were 3 more attacks yesterday, and that is part of the reason why this is happening. Also, we're going to be covering how millions more egg layers were culled this week. It will impact your store shelves. Egg prices are going to be going up. You can't just have 3 million this week, 3 million last week, all these hens getting slaughtered and not impact egg prices, all right? Also, a viewer's going to ask me what books are back there on the shelf, so I'm going to, I pulled a few off just to take a quick glance at that, just to show you a little bit of kind of the stuff I read. And then we have lots and lots more reports coming from you guys from all over the place, so let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and you guys send in your reports and your updates of what you're seeing around the world. We appreciate you guys who do that. Vital intelligence that we're sharing amongst each other, and hey, it's all kinds of stuff. And as we go into different stages of this crisis, information will be super, super important. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They make this all possible. So if you have a retirement account that you want to get into something more safe, like gold, silver, or platinum coins, you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. All right, so yesterday, another 2 ships were hit by missiles in the Red Sea, and another ship got hijacked. So 2 missiles were fired apparently at different ships. One hit the Swiss-owned MSC Palladium, which then caught fire. The Palladium then turned under its own power and fled south away from Yemen, where the missiles were coming from. We also then heard that the German-owned Al Jazeera also got hit by a missile. A container was blown overboard and a small deck fire got started, which they were able to extinguish. No injuries on both. Well, there's no injuries on the Al Jazeera. No word yet on the Palladium. We may yet hear injuries there. Both are container ships. Both are, a Switzerland-owned ship and a German-owned ship. You can just see how linked they are to Israel. And then a third ship was hijacked, the MV Ruin, and pirates took control of the ship and apparently steering it towards Somalia. Now this is a big, long string of bad news out there. I mean, it's just not safe to go through that strait anymore. The Bab al, Maersk is now diverting all of their ships. They have 740 cargo ships worldwide. The Hapag-Lloyd company is also diverting all ships from the Red Sea, 264 cargo ships worldwide. And these are some of the leading companies out there shipping-wise, so expect all the other shipping companies to very quickly get in line as well. Basically, the Bab al-Mandab Strait is basically shut down. No one is going to be going through that in the foreseeable future until things can get situated here. So that's what we're seeing right now. We may see some local ships still going through there, but expect cargo ships and larger ships. I don't know what the insurance rates are right now, but I imagine if I was an insurance company, I'd be there like, yeah, not going to insure you. We're just going to lose money on that. Lacey points out 1 million chickens to be slaughtered in Arkansas due to processing plant closing their doors abruptly. This isn't a culling. This is killing them because the plant is shutting down. Now, these are meat birds, though, so I will point that out. Meat birds are a completely different thing other than laying hens. Laying hens take over 6 months to hatch to actually laying their first eggs. Meat birds are much, much faster to you just replace those meat birds like that. Now, that's just terrible that they're slaughtering all these meat birds without actually sending them to a processing plant. That is a tremendous waste, but it is not going to impact our supply chains dramatically, probably. So just this week, Kansas lost 700,000 laying hens. California lost 1.4 million laying hens. And Ohio lost 600,000 laying hens. Now, these were all culled due to bird flu, positive bird flu tests. And of course, those tests are renowned to be give off false positives. And the government is coming to these farmers and telling them, you need to cull all of your chickens or else you're going to bear the responsibility for it. And they get paid top dollar to cull their chickens, and all the eggs get destroyed and all the hens get put down. Last week, so this week, 2.7 million laying hens. Last week, just under 3 million laying hens. If you start adding those up, we're starting to get to some pretty big numbers here. We're starting to approach the kind of numbers we saw last year when we had the egg crisis. So friends, I'm going to say this. Last week I said you should start paying attention. This week I'm going to say you need to get stocked up on eggs. So what is it going to take for you to stock up on eggs? You figure that out. But I would strongly urge you to start getting stocked up on eggs, because you expect at the very least egg prices to go up dramatically. You may see store shortages soon, especially on the East Coast, and well, California got hit pretty hard right there this past week. So we'll see what areas are hit harder on eggs, but expect eggs to get a little more scarce here in the United States. We're hearing similar things out of Europe, but they don't publish their numbers. All right, and the numbers I'm giving you are straight from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They lag a bit, so they did like this data drop the other day, so that's kind of why I'm dumping a whole bunch of numbers on you at once. This is from Sheena, Little Oregon Girl Soap, and in Bandon, Oregon. They had a bomb threat at one of their schools today. The schools were all sent home safe. That's in Oregon, right? Police and FBI were called. But then it looks to be a mass cyber threat across the country. So we were hearing that in Texas, Ohio, some other places, but apparently it's also now hitting in Oregon as well. So this is a mass cyber campaign. Apparently they're getting into school email systems, and then they're emailing the threat out from the school district itself. They're getting a hold of their school addresses and emailing the students. So that's got to be concerning, right? And that's at least the MO that we've heard on several of the other cases. So not sure if that's the exact MO that's going on here. And then how many are going to be copycats, right? How many of these issues are going to be copycats, people going out there and being like, oh, we can get off from school if we do this. We saw this back in the 90s, and it still happens today. Wide Awake says the Black Hills National Forest in South Dakota, where we hunt for our meat by choice, the government is working on putting U.S. public lands up for trading on the stock market. They are working on this over the Christmas break and will vote around January 2nd to be signed into law. This will shut down the lands to public use, no hunting, etc. That's what they don't want. All of us planning on hunting to survive, if the land is shut off, no hunting. They already have the national parks needing appointments to get in if you get lucky. Only your allotted time to go in if you're lucky enough to get a time slot. The Hunger Games are here. Yeah, that, or let's go back even further to the Robin Hood example, right? You know, you're not allowed to hunt on the king's land. I mean, right? I don't know if that was just the movie, but, you know, that same idea. You know, you can't, there's the land that the government has that they're not using for anything, but you're not allowed to use it just out of principle. This is from King, who is a first-time updater. York, PA. I have been a mail carrier for 13 years. This is the first year I can remember that has been this light. Normally, 3 weeks before Christmas, we would write off our personal lives. We would have to go back to the office and get more than would fit in the truck the first trip. I have not had to, even with Black Friday so far, no overtime. And you can see the worry on the faces of my fellow carriers that rely on that overtime for their Christmas. Been a prepper my whole life, so I've seen the downturn coming, but this is sort of our Super Bowl moment, and it's like no one showed up to watch. People need to get ready, because I think feel that we are reaching that inflection point. God bless everyone and good luck. So there you hear it. The Postal Service is slowing down significantly. They're not seeing nearly as many packages. A lot less is going through the post office. That looks like things are just down. This is from a nurse. We are having a shortage of lorazepam, which is a popular medication for anxiety. I am a nurse, and we have been asked to use other medications when possible. Again, that just... I don't like the idea when doctors prescribe things because they make more money off that prescription. And I have that same feeling when they start prescribing things because there's a shortage of something. They're not choosing the thing that's the best for you anymore. They're choosing the thing, they're being inventory people. Well, this is what we got. Here, you want some of these? You know, I'm not sure if I'll help you, but that's all we have. So, you know, tough luck. Of course, that's the best thing for you. When you start hearing that kind of stuff, that's just really bad. This is from Jen. Not all chickens stop laying in the winter. Apparently there's some breeds out there. For those of you who have dual-purpose heritage breed chickens, hatch a new batch of chickens every spring, and these will likely be the only chickens that will lay reliably through the winter. This is an Amish tip that seems to be accurate. Hatch by April, and you should be in eggs by wintertime. Farmer in the Ozarks. I had that comment the other day about someone had were thinking that the Walmart chicken feed was causing them problems because their chickens just stopped laying. I kind of mentioned, you know, it is winter time, so and if you want to get chicken owners riled up about a topic, start talking about chickens not laying during the winter. Everybody has an opinion about that. Big Foddy says, not really an update, but every day when I watch your videos, Steve, I wonder, what books do you have on that bookshelf back there, brother? I love to read, and you're a smart guy, so I was just wondering. So I just pulled a couple random ones off the shelf. This is John Owen, The Holy Spirit. John Owen, of course, is an old Puritan. He was back in the day, when our country was still being founded, well before the Revolution still, a major thought leader. The Puritans are just, they thought so deeply about religion. It's just, they were like the monastics, just super, super deep thought, but they're also in they're not in the Catholic line of thinking. They're in the Protestant type of thinking. So I read a fair bit of those, and I have a bunch of those books kind of wandering around. So reading dead people that have been, you know, inspired people for generations is a good kind of thing to get into. Operation World, this is like an almanac on like the status of world missions. Where are there Christians? What comprises those different nations? So each country has sections, and you can read through and pray through. There's Morocco and just places where Christians aren't supposed to be, and all that kind of stuff like that. And what kind of struggles are there for missionaries in those different regions and starting churches? So that, and then let's see here, The Last Full Measure by Jeff Shara. This is the one that was written by his son, I think. You know, if you ever heard of Gods and Generals, it was the first book in the series, and then the one that the movie Gettysburg was off of, The Killer Angels. That was book 2, and then this is book 3. Covers the U.S. Civil War. I haven't picked this up in a bit. If you come to my house, I have bookshelves everywhere just packed full of books because I love the books. This is Josephus. He was a historian during the Roman Empire. Thrones of Blood. This is a history of the Roman Empire, especially of the Judean region, where we're being told that Jews weren't. Except Josephus says that there were Jews back then. He was Jewish himself, and he also has the account in here of the fall of Jerusalem, when the Romans sacked Jerusalem and burned it to the ground, basically. So if you want to read about what it looks like when a nation gets destroyed from the outside, that is a good account. But also, Josephus is kind of like mandatory reading for like people in seminary and stuff, because he does make some references to what was happening with the early Christians in the time too, because that was right in the same time period. He makes some comments about Jesus. He was not a Christian at all. He was a Roman and a Jew, so he didn't really think highly of them, but he did kind of say some things that are kind of interesting. You can Google him if you're interested. A farm mama says, Southwest Indiana, went to Walmart, all beef broth gone and very little chicken broth. This is the first time it has been this empty. Have been watching each time we go. MMG says, chicken feed. I've said this before. Yes, there's something wrong with the Walmart feed. And frankly, most of all the feeds. Okay, so apparently all the feeds. It's the cheap stuff that's been tampered with. Find more expensive feed that's locally sourced or mix your own grain. I use Combotch out of Ohio through Chewy. It's reasonably priced with free shipping. Also, you gotta supplement 20 to 30% with cooked rice and beans, a little coconut oil and greens in it too, and they will start laying again. It's not all over YouTube, but all of us around here have been experiencing this. Most farmers won't talk to you about it, even amongst each other. Get a non-traditional feed and supplement with cooked beans and rice, and they will lay again. Obviously, make sure they have oyster shell or supplement with calcium and water. Or you can feed them back their own shells. I know. That's another controversial one, right? I'm all about just give them back their own shells, and some people are like, no, they'll give them disease, and that's what they naturally do. They naturally will eat their own shells. Anyway, Justin in Columbus, Ohio. Just a message as a reminder to all of our friends here, myself, I have used both Contingency Medical, which is and Jace Medical, and they both basically do the same kinds of stuff. Jace Medical, I think, has more options nowadays. So use both Contingency Medical and Jace Medical for stock of medications. Yes, it doesn't cost more, as it does cost more, and you can't use insurance, but they are legit and can help you with these antibiotic shortages. And Jace Medical can get you up to a year of stock on your depression and other critical meds. My wife is allergic to peanuts and asthmatic, so I was able to obtain emergency I believe they meant SteriPens or, injectors, and Abertorol inhalers just in case. So if you have things that you desperately need and you see things going the wrong way out there, might want to stock up with Jace Medical. I'll pop them down in the pinned comment down below if you want to check them out. They're actually prescribed though, right? So prescribed medications. Sean says, in Wisconsin, I had a heart transplant. I need a biopsy to check for rejection. No biopsy because of a nationwide shortage of equipment. Also filled a 90-day prescription of anti-rejection medications for my heart transplant. I was given a 10-day supply instead. 10 days. If I run out, I die. Friends, we're hearing a lot of stories like that, and it's heartbreaking to hear that. Just do what you can out there, please. Don't wait until the last minute, and try to get what you can. And go to doctors, go to wherever you need to go in order to plead your case, right? This is from a viewer. I stopped at our local Joann Fabrics here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. for a spool of thread. The doors were locked. They let me in, but when I asked why they were closing so early, I was told they didn't have anyone to work the evenings anymore. So more labor shortages out there. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out what Genesis Gold has got going on, you can click that link right there. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right up there. If you want to check out that Jace thing down there, if you haven't already talked to them. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.